We have also agreed to hold meetings of various institutional mechanisms in due course. We will continue to build on our conversation to add more substance to our relationship. We discussed the situation in Ukraine. I shared with the Foreign Minister our deep concern at the prevailing situation and offered our condolences on the loss of precious lives and immense human suffering. In a gesture of solidarity with the people of Ukraine, and despite our own economic challenges, we have sent humanitarian assistance. We believe that prolonged conflict brings immense hardship and sufferings to civilian populations. We hope, therefore, that peace will prevail so that the people of Ukraine and Russia can enjoy peace dividends. In our meeting, I emphasized the importance of peaceful resolution of disputes and conflicts through dialogue and engagement, and Pakistan's readiness to support peace initiatives which can bring peace in the region. As a country in a volatile region, we understand how long-standing regional conflicts can endanger our collective security. The Ukrainian war has also brought difficulties for developing countries and the global south, particularly in terms of fuel, food, and fertilizer shortages. Pakistan is no exception. We therefore have a vested interest in promoting peace and reconciliation. We hope for a peaceful resolution through dialogue and diplomacy. Finally, I would particularly like to appreciate the Ukrainian government for its principled stance in supporting the resolution on countering religious hatred, constituting incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence at the Human Rights Council in Geneva on the 12th of July. As we look to the future, I am confident in our joint efforts to strengthen the bilateral relationship. We resolve to move forward in fostering cooperation and friendship between the peoples of Pakistan and Ukraine. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister. It is indeed a big honor for me to be the first ever Ukrainian foreign minister who is paying an official visit to Pakistan. And although it's nice to be the first who came here and to be hosted by the first ever foreign minister of Pakistan who is hosting Ukrainian foreign minister, I think it's wrong. It's wrong that, that it's happening only now. 30 years of Ukrainian independence, Ukraine and Pakistan have enjoyed excellent relationship. We were happy to work with you in the 90s, throughout 90s, and further on in the area in helping you build, strengthen your armed forces. We were always standing next to you in times of food crisis, and 2 years ago it was we were happy to help you to counter the flour crisis, when Ukrainian traders delivered more than 1 million tons of grain. And of course, we will always remember that Pakistan provided Ukraine with humanitarian aid in the times when we needed it the most. And we understand that it was not an easy decision in terms of domestic economic situation, but this is what friends do. They help each other in times of the greatest need. So my visit here is a sign of appreciation of bilateral relations that have existed between Ukraine and Pakistan for more than 30 years. But we also tried to look into the future. And today I mentioned to my dear colleague and friend that war does not stop life. And we are thinking of how we were discussing today how we can boost trade, how we can solve existing problems for Pakistani students who had studied in Ukraine before the war began, and how we want to develop cooperation in this area. I briefed Minister about the opportunities Ukraine offers in the area of digitalization of state services, to make government more convenient to engage with for its own citizens. we were really I think it will not be exaggeration to say that today we were looking into the future of our bilateral relations and what we can do together. And as Bilawal mentioned, yes, we agreed to reinvigorate some of our bilateral mechanisms. We will be looking forward to holding the inaugural meeting of the Ukrainian-Pakistani Commission on Economic Cooperation. And one more issue that became particularly topical since Monday, it's the future of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. I briefed Minister about the rationale behind Russia's withdrawal from this initiative, about its consequences for global food security. We regret that it will be Ukraine, countries of Asia and Africa who will suffer the most from Russia's withdrawal. By doing so, Russia significantly undermined global food security, and we already see prices going up. I reiterated to Foreign Minister that Ukraine considers Pakistan a good partner, and we are ready to work with your country on specific arrangements in the area of food security. And we will also appreciate if Pakistan voices its support of the continuation of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. And I was happy to hear from Bilawal that Pakistan will engage in this matter with the United Nations and Turkey as facilitators of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Thank you once again for this visit. I will be looking forward to hosting you in Kiev one day. Our nations have to meet more and talk more at all levels for the benefit of our people.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll open the floor now. Mr. Raja Mohsin Ejaz of ALY.
Thank you very much, sir. My question was to our visiting dignitary. Sir, what brings you to the Pakistan, given the significance, because you are the first foreign minister of Ukraine to visit Pakistan in 30 years? Thank you very much.
I think I already answered your question, but now, in addition to the reasons I mentioned, it was definitely worth coming because I enormously enjoyed Pakistani food. Especially the dessert, whose name I forgot.
Kulfi.
Yes, especially the dessert. But the rest part of my answer is in everything that I said that I said before. But really, by all accounts, our bilateral relations deserve more frequent contacts and engagement between governments at all levels, because even when we go through every issue on our speaking points, we realize how filled our relationship is. And there are so many things that we can do together and help each other with.
Mr. Anas Malik, Capital TV.
Capital TV. क्या हुआ आपका उसका?
Working as well. Anas Malik from Beyond.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. So my question is addressed to both the foreign ministers and Foreign Minister of Pakistan and Foreign Minister of the visiting dignitary. The UN brokered grain deal. You've commented on that it is at a standstill right now. We've heard your comments. I would want the spotlight on the Pakistani side. Would you want to see its resumption or urge a resumption? And how does it affect directly on Ukraine's exports in times of this uncertainty of war to the resident dignitary? Thank you.
So, Anas, thank you for your question. And you know our history, that Pakistan used to buy our wheat from Ukraine also in the past. The Pakistani people enjoy Ukrainian wheat. And as soon as the war started, the consequences, particularly for the developing world, insofar as food security, I raised many times when we were shortly in opposition, and then we came into government. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was heralded at the time of its announcement, and most of us in the developing world breathed a big sigh of relief, and that this would address in a large way the issues and challenges that we faced with food security. Like other developing countries, food inflation and supply disrupts resulting from supply chains disturbances due to the conflict has severely impacted Pakistan. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was a positive undertaking. The United Nations, Turkey, and Ukraine and Russia. It is not only in our interest, we believe it is in the developing world's interest that this grain initiative is restored. I will be reaching out to the United Nations Secretary General, to my counterpart in Turkey, in Russia, to discuss Pakistan's concerns and our desire for the Black Sea Grain Initiative to be restored.
You have to understand what happened. So last year, Russia attacked Ukraine and blocked our ports. Food prices all over the world immediately went up. Black Sea, we had to find the way to export our grain to the global market. The best way is by the sea. The alternative way is by land corridors through the countries belonging to the European Union. We have achieved a lot in extending the land corridors, and my point number one, there are ways to export Ukrainian grain from our country to global markets. So it's not that things are completely locked up. But the problem is that taken all together, land corridors cannot export full amount of cereals available for export. This is the issue, which means that prices will go up because of the shortage of delivery. Russia said, don't worry, Russia have enough of grain to replace Ukrainian grain on the global market. But first, this looks, there is a flight, I hope it's not Russian flight, right? Sorry. Do we have a big embassy here? But the Russians, what the Russians have done, they're trying, literally saying that we simply destroyed our competitor. Now what happens? Russia, on Monday, Russia announces withdrawal from the initiative. On Wednesday, they attack Ukrainian ports with missiles, destroying port infrastructure, basically making it even harder for us to restore export. In one terminal, they destroyed 60,000 tons of grain that was designated to China. It means that 60,000 tons of grain will never make it to the people who want to buy bread at reasonable price. And as prices go up, Russia is increasing its exports of grain, making more money for its war machine and for its shattered economy. So they say tons of things about their interests not being met, about disrespect shown to them. The real essence of what Russia has done is money. They want to make more money, they want to remove competitor from global market, but the ones who will pay for it will be Ukrainian farmers and ordinary people in Asia and in Africa who will have to buy more expensive bread. This is the consequence. And this is why it is so important to make everything possible to restore Black Sea Grain Initiative, to return balance to the global food market, to return prices under control, and to give Ukraine the possibility to provide cereals to the countries who need it the most.
We have one last question, given the busy schedule of our esteemed guest. One last question by Mr. Kamran Yusuf from Express Tribune.
Thank you. Question to Foreign Minister Bilawal. We've been hearing repeated reports that Pakistan is supplying arms to Ukraine or considering, given the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. What is Pakistan's position on that? And question to Foreign Minister of Ukraine. What kind of expectations do you have from Pakistan as far as the ongoing conflict between your conflict with Russia is concerned?
I think you know Pakistan's position on this issue. I'd like this opportunity to reiterate that we find it regrettable that certain media outlets have tried to publish unfounded reports alleging military supplies to Ukraine. Since the war began, we have not concluded any agreement for defense supplies to Ukraine, keeping in view our principled, consistent and non-partisan position. Thank you, Kamran.
Yes, I can confirm that there are no contracts or intergovernmental arrangements between Ukraine and Pakistan in this area. The military technical cooperation that we have dates back to the contracts signed in 1996 and related to the supply of, to the creation of Al-Hadid tank in Pakistan with the support of Ukrainian defense industry. We want Pakistan to be by our side in the way it finds appropriate for itself. And Minister expressed condolences. We know that Pakistan supports our territorial integrity. And the rest is in the hands of the Pakistani government to choose appropriate forms of finding the way to support a country that is fighting for its sovereignty and territorial integrity against a much stronger
आपको बताएं पाकिस्तान और यूक्रेन की वज़ीर ख़ारजा की मुश्तरका प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जारी थी जिसमें वज़ीर ख़ारजा बिलावल भुट्टो सरदारी भी मौजूद थे और वो न्यूज़ कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि पाकिस्तान यूक्रेन के साथ दो तरफ़ा ताल्लुकात बढ़ाने का ख्वाह है और यूक्रेन की जानिब से कहा गया कि ये पहली बार 30 सालों में ऐसा हुआ है कि पाकिस्तान के वज़ीर ख़ारजा यहाँ पर आए हैं।